everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got an upper intermediate level lesson for you all about money.
That's right, we are trading money. We're actually negotiating in this very popular topic nowadays, the whole foreign exchange market.
Okay, so we're talking about currency, which is the money of different countries. For example, the currency of Ecuador is...
the US dollar. Yeah. Hard to believe, but true. I'll tell you all about it later.
Okay. Well, the currency of America is also the US dollar. So with that in mind, let's listen to today's dialogue.
Hey, John. I haven't seen you in ages. What's new? What have you been up to?
Pete, nice to see you. Well, on top of the norm, wife and kids and work, I've actually gotten into doing some trading.
Trading? You, big guy? What are you trading?
Currencies.
Currencies? As in euros, dollars, pounds, and rupees?
It's called Forex, foreign exchange. The great thing about it is that I don't have to invest a huge amount. I put in a margin deposit and then I can buy and sell up to 100 times that much.
I don't understand. You're buying and selling money?
You got it. Just last night I made $150.
Last night?
Yeah, it's a 24-hour market. I'd bought some renminbi earlier at a low asking price, but last night it appreciated drastically. So I made a split-second decision and sold all of my RMB at an amazing bid. I've also done some trading with Swiss francs and Australian dollars and Hong Kong dollars. I've made some good profits, but I've also suffered some losses. It depends on a lot of factors, just like any other market. In total, I've made about $500 in the past few months.
You're kidding! I'm on. Where do I sign up? All right, we're back. So this guy is trading currencies, as we heard. And, well, we're going to talk about a lot of the specific vocab that he used about this topic. So why don't we take a look at some of those now in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
Well, the first thing I think we should talk about is one of the first things that he says, actually. Peter says, I haven't seen you in ages.
I haven't seen you in ages, right. So, obviously, he hasn't seen him in a long time, and that's what in ages means.
That's right. So, we haven't seen each other in ages.
So, what other ways can we use in ages, or the word ages?
Well, you could actually say, it's been ages.
So that means it's been a long time.
It's been a long time, or we haven't gone out for ages.
Okay, so then you can use it with four ages.
4 ages, in ages. So the key word here is ages, which means a long time.
Long time. Okay. And, well, he hasn't seen him in ages, and the guy's like, well, you know what? I've actually gone into trading.
So that means he started doing some trading.
Right. Now, trading is a very broad word because you can trade, as in this case, currencies, which is basically to buy and sell currencies.
But you could also trade stocks, right?
You can trade stocks, or even people that are involved in import-export. They are involved in trading.
Trading. So basically, trading is buying and selling something.
Right. So you're trading. You are exchanging a product for money, or money for a product.
But the difference is you're not actually making any products.
Right. Okay, so that's called trading. You're not really manufacturing anything. You're just exchanging goods and services and money. All right, so that's for trading. Now, moving on, he was explaining how the foreign exchange market works, and he says, I don't have to invest a huge amount. I put in a margin deposit, and then I can buy and sell up to 100 times that much.
So, Marco, here's the question. What is a margin deposit? Because a deposit is basically money that you invest somewhere or that you pay in.
Right. Well, basically, a margin deposit is like a percentage. So he basically puts in a percentage of what he intends to buy. So, for example, a margin deposit of $1,000 might be $1 or $10.
Okay, so maybe if it's $10, you're talking about a 1% margin.
Exactly. So that's what he means by a margin deposit, and that's why he explains that you don't have to have a large amount of money in order to trade in the foreign exchange market. You just put in a margin deposit, and then you can work around that.
Well, it sounds pretty easy, but then he explains some more details about it, and it gets to be a little bit more complicated.
That's right. He explained about how he makes money and how he bought some Chinese renminbi, and then he sold it because it appreciated drastically.
So he bought it when it was cheap, and he sold it when it was expensive. So the price changed.
Right.
So this kind of price change, when something goes from cheap to expensive, it's called appreciating. Appreciation. So the verb is to appreciate.
It's very different from using it in the sense of you appreciate someone, right? Like, oh, I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no, it's very different. We could say this about most goods or investments. For example, my parents bought a house in 1970, and the value of the house has really appreciated over the last 40 years. So now the value is much, much greater.
And actually, just mentioning it while we're on the topic, to appreciate, as you say, is something becomes more expensive. The opposite, when something becomes cheaper or maybe the value goes down, is to depreciate.
Depreciate. So that D at the beginning means it's going down.
Right. Okay, and moving on to our last word for language takeaway. So when he was talking about selling the Chinese currency, he said that he sold it at an amazing bid.
Okay, let's talk about bid here. B-I-D, bid. What does this mean?
So to bid is to place an offer for something.
Okay, so for example, at an auction, when someone is selling many old objects or some art, I can bid $100.
Right.
And maybe someone doesn't accept my bid. But if they do accept my bid, then I pay for it.
Right. So basically a bid is just another way of saying an offer. You're offering a certain amount of money for that product or that service. And you see it a lot, for example, on eBay, right?
That's right. So eBay is an auction website, basically. And someone who's selling someone can see many, many bids, and they select the best bid.
Exactly. So that's what a bid is. So that's all we have for language takeaway. Let's move on now to Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Marco, what have you been up to lately? I never see you.
All right. This is actually a very common sentence. What have you been up to? But most English learners don't really understand what it means.
Well, this is a really interesting point because I say this all the time. This is very native, very colloquial. What have you been up to?
It's almost the same as saying, what's up?
What's up? Or where have you been recently? What have you been doing recently?
Right.
How's your life?
Right. So this part, up to, what have you been up to? It doesn't really say much if you translate it literally. But basically it's, what have you been doing? What have you been spending your time on?
So to be up to means to do something, to do.
Right. And there are many other definitions of up to, but in this case, what have you been up to means that. What have you been doing?
So next time you see a friend you haven't seen in a week or two, you can say, what have you been up to?
All right. And John answers, well, you know, on top of the norm, wife, kids, and work. That phrase right there, on top of the norm.
Well, the norm here means the normal. That means basically normal life. I've been working, I've got my kids, my wife, on top of the norm. Just life is normal.
Right. So the norm are the wife, kids, and work. On top of that, I'm actually getting into trading, right? So the normal situation, the normal life is wife, kids, and work. And then he's saying, on top of that, I've actually been doing this.
Exactly.
Okay. And now moving on to when he's explaining again the market and the currencies, he talked about an asking price.
Okay, asking price. This is, remember we were talking about bids? We could say that someone has an asking price, which is the price they would like to receive for an object or a service that they are selling. And so, for example, I'm going to sell my desk. My asking price is $100, $100. Maybe you don't want to pay that much, but my asking price is the way that I'm going to start. That's how much I want for it.
Right. So that's your asking price. That's how much you ideally want to sell it for, but you can negotiate. You are willing to accept maybe a lower offer.
Exactly.
Okay. And what is our last phrase?
A split-second decision. This is really, really important. These words go together very often. Split second and decision.
Okay, so that basically means that you made a very quick decision.
That's right. Split second. Very fast. It's almost like it's less than a second. And so a split second decision means a decision in no time. It's very, very quick.
So we can actually mix split second with other things, right? For example, so maybe you can say he reacted in a split second and avoided the crash.
Okay, so good for him. He reacted quickly enough to avoid the accident.
That's right. So split second, very fast, very quickly. A split second decision, a decision that was made very fast. Okay, so that's all we have for Fluency Builder. Why don't we go back, listen to this dialogue one more time, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more. Hey, John, I haven't seen you in ages. What's new? What have you been up to?
Pete, nice to see you. Well, on top of the norm, wife and kids and work, I've actually gotten into doing some trading.
Trading? You, big guy? What are you trading?
Currencies.
Currencies? As in euros, dollars, pounds, and rupees?
It's called Forex, foreign exchange. The great thing about it is that I don't have to invest a huge amount. I put in a margin deposit and then I can buy and sell up to 100 times that much.
I don't understand. You're buying and selling money?
You got it. Just last night I made $150.
Last night?
Yeah, it's a 24-hour market. I'd bought some renminbi earlier at a low asking price, but last night it appreciated drastically. So I made a split-second decision and sold all of my RMB at an amazing bid. I've also done some trading with Swiss francs and Australian dollars and Hong Kong dollars. I've made some good profits, but I've also suffered some losses. It depends on a lot of factors, just like any other market. In total, I've made about $500 in the past few months.
You're kidding! I'm on. Where do I sign up?
So, Marco, you have to explain this to me. We're talking about currency today. So every nation has a currency. For example, in the dialogue, we learned that India has rupees.
Pounds are in Britain.
Britain has pounds, and Australia has Australian dollars. America has American dollars. But you just said earlier that Ecuador has American dollars too.
That's right. Actually, Ecuador went through a very difficult economic situation in late 1998, early 1999, where there was hyperinflation. So basically, there was an inflation that was very, very, very large.
So that means that the old currency lost its value very fast.
Exactly. So, for example, if the currency before in Ecuador used to be sucres. So if 10 sucres was $1, all of a sudden it was 50 sucres was $1.
Oh, wow.
So, and it got to the point where goods and services went from 3,000 to $1 to 25,000 to $1.
Oh, okay. So people have bags full of money and it's not really worth anything anymore.
Exactly. So what happened was the central bank couldn't absorb this currency depreciation. They couldn't really regulate prices. Obviously, salaries were about the same, so you have a lot less money comparatively. And so the government decided that there were two options. Either they would follow Argentina's example, what they did a couple of years before, and set a fixed rate. So in Argentina, it's 3 pesos to $1. Or we would just get rid of our currency and just use US dollars.
So that's what they did, right?
They use US dollars, and now if you ever travel to Ecuador, you will use US dollars. The same exact bills that you use in the US are the same exact bills in Ecuador.
So no need to exchange currency.
No need to exchange currency, and that's why I guess there are many factors that people say are a lot better. For example, trading has become a lot less complicated because now you're negotiating in US dollars as in everywhere else in the world. But then other things, as you know, not having a national currency also affect. So there are a lot of things going on, but it's an interesting topic.
Very interesting. Well, so maybe for those of you who are listening, you could tell us about your country and your currency. What do you use? What do you spend money on? And do people buy and trade currencies where you're from?
Exactly. Or maybe you can even enlighten us with with the exchange rate. Maybe usually it's a good question to ask, how much is a liter of milk? Or how much is a haircut?
Right, because these are things that everyone needs, so the price doesn't change that much.
Exactly. We're really curious to know how inexpensive or maybe very expensive your country is. So come to EnglishPod.com and we'll see everyone there.
Bye.
Bye-bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Something is usual or expected. Norm. The money that a country uses. Currency. The sum of money required to reinstate. Margin deposit. Taking effect rapidly. Drastically. Very quickly, just a second. Split second. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Bid.
Let's try that faster.
The sum of money required to reinstate. Margin deposit. Something is usual or expected. Norm. Very quickly, just a second. Split second. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Bid. Taking effect rapidly. Drastically. The money that a country uses. Currency.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Norm. What's the norm in this company concerning protocol? Norm. This is the norm, so you'd better get used to it. Norm. Delivery, McDonald's, and street vendors are the norms around here. Currency. Before I went to France, I had to change some of my Canadian currency into euros. Currency. What's the currency in this country? Currency. My country's currency is worth next to nothing in USD. Margin deposit. He decided to start with a margin deposit of GBP 100. Margin deposit. I can't believe that I can trade with USD 1 million deposit when I've only put in a margin deposit of USD 10,000. Margin deposit. One has to be careful with trading using a margin deposit because the risk of losing more money than one has are high. Split second. The gang members were closing in on me fast, so I made a split-second decision to run instead of fight. Split second. My heart pounded as I made a split-second decision and took hold of her hand. Split second. My split-second decision to try a trick on my bicycle in order to impress my friends didn't end well. Bid. The current bid ask for EUR USD is 1.3998-79. Bid. I bought euros at an ask of $1.4235 and sold British pounds at a bid of $1.5001. Bid. The bid for Japanese yen and the ask for Hong Kong dollars are really good right now if you trade in US currency.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be bringing you the second part of our job interview series.
That's right. So this is an advanced lesson, and we're going to be talking about educational background and experience.
Right. So in the first part, we saw preparing for a job interview. Now we are at the job interview, and we're just going to be talking about your educational background and your job experience.
That's right. And the language we're going to learn is going to focus mostly on these two areas.
Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at some of the difficult words before we listen to the dialogue in vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
All right. So we're going to talk about a few common words that have to do with education. Now, the first word, I think we might know this one, but there's a little trick to it. So the first one is major.
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 So, yeah, I guess everyone knows what a major is, right?
Yeah, it's the main subject that you study in university.
Right. So you can study business as a major or
History.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you can also use it as a verb, right?
That's right. I majored in history.
Majored in. So usually it's followed by the preposition in.
Yes, always, in fact.
Okay.
When used as a verb, I majored in science.
I majored in business.
Yes.
Okay, so you can say my major is business administration or history, or you can say I majored in business.
Yeah, and the same pattern applies to minor.
Okay, so minor, this is really interesting because this is more common in English-speaking countries, right?
That's right.
So what exactly is a minor?
Well, just like your major, but smaller.
Okay.
So if you major in history, maybe 60% of your classes are in history, and you minor in French, maybe 30 or 40% of your classes are in French.
So basically you can have two subjects in your degree. You can have a major in business with a minor in art.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
All right, and another two simple words, a bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree, okay.
A bachelor's degree is what you get after going to university for 4 years.
Okay, so a bachelor's degree, after 4 years, you get that.
Yeah.
After that, you get a master's degree.
Right. So that's another 2 years after your bachelor's degree.
Okay, and I guess a master's is more focused on an area, right?
Yes, more specialized.
More specialized. And then the highest degree you can get is a PhD,
Exactly.
which is a philosophy doctorate, right?
Uh-huh.
But you're not actually getting a degree in philosophy.
No, it could be in international relations.
Okay. But this is really hard to get. You
Yeah.
have to go to school for another 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of research, and not many people have it.
Yeah. Anyway, some simple words, but you know what? It's quite unique to the English-speaking world, this system, so we thought we'd bring it to you now.
Right, perfect. So now let's listen to this guy who is at an interview, and he's going to be talking about his education and work experience.
Thanks for coming in today. Did you have any trouble finding us? Please, take a seat.
Thank you.
So, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your educational background.
Sure. Well, I graduated with honors from Chesterton University with a major in business administration, with a specialization in information management, and I minored in psychology. I chose this course of study for two reasons. I wanted to gain some practical, marketable skills, which the information management track provided, and I also feel that the interpersonal skills are essential for professional success, hence the minor in psychology.
Interesting. And your postgraduate studies?
Well, I am really passionate about consumer behavior, so I pursued a master's in that area. I also strive to keep my professional skills current, so I continuously attend seminars and conferences related to management and customer service.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your work experience. I see here that you previously worked at Oracle.
Yeah, I worked as their customer support manager, which brought me a breadth of experience in both client care and process management. I supervised and coordinated the customer support team as well as implemented new strategies to achieve better customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
Yes, in this position, I was able to make some pretty significant contributions to the overall success of the company. With the different initiatives that we implemented, we lowered our churn rate to about 5%, which had a direct impact on revenue.
Well, those are some pretty good answers to those questions, but I don't know, Marco.
There was a little awkward moment. I don't know if you guys heard it. Natural body, what's it called? Functions.
Yeah.
So,
oh, dear.
Well, making the interview a little bit more interesting, right? It doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly. But what is really interesting is some of the language he used to describe his educational background and work experience. So let's look at that now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so in language takeaway today, we have 7 words that we want to focus on before we give you some tips about doing well on a job interview. So let's take a look at the first word. Course of study.
Course of study.
Course of study.
A course of study.
So what is a course of study exactly?
Basically, it's like a plan of study or a path of study.
Okay, so his course of study was...
Business administration.
Exactly, so that is his course of study. Now let's take a look at our second word. Track.
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 So he said he wanted to gain some practical, markable skills that the information management track provided.
Exactly.
So what does he mean by this track?
Again, basically, if the track of study is like the path of study.
Okay.
So the direction of your study.
Okay, so I guess it would be like, think of a train and the train tracks, right?
Exactly.
Where the train travels. So that's where it's taking you. That's the path that he followed or you should follow or you want to follow.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now let's take a look at our third word, and it's a really nice conjunction. Hence.
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 H-E-N-C-E. Hence.
Hence. So it sounds fancy, but
Yes.
what
Really
does
simple.
it mean?
So. Therefore. Yeah.
Right. So you can use it as a conjunction between two ideas. So he said, what would be an example of how you could use hence?
You could say the economy is doing poorly, hence people are losing their jobs.
Okay. Hence, so therefore, in consequence,
Right.
so...
Exactly.
But it just sounds a lot more like professional.
Formal.
Formal.
Yeah.
Okay, so try and use this conjunction hence, right? Instead of saying so, therefore.
Yep.
Use it. Okay, our fourth word.
Pursued.
Pursued.
He pursued a master's.
Okay, so to pursue.
To chase after something.
To chase
Rawr.
after. So you can pursue a master's degree like he did.
Yes, you can pursue a promotion.
A dream.
Nice one.
Can you pursue a girl?
Yes, you can.
All right, so pursue to chase.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at our next word, strive.
Another great word you can use when talking about your experience. To strive is to try really hard.
To try really hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we have some examples for strive.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
Example 1.
At our company, we are always striving to improve our services.
Example 2.
He really strived to get a new job and his work paid off.
Okay, great examples. So strive, to fight, to try really hard.
Yep.
All right. Okay, now the next word, I didn't really know what it meant, so this is really interesting. Breadth.
Breadth.
So it's kind of like saying bread, but adding a TH at the end.
Yeah.
Breadth.
Breadth of experience.
Okay, so this basically means it's wide.
Exactly. So when you have a great breadth of experience, you have a wide variety of experience.
Okay, so maybe in different fields or in different jobs. So
Yep.
you can have experience like in marketing and in a little bit in finance and a little bit in management.
Yes, a breadth of experience.
All right. All right. And now for the last word, it's actually 3-in-1.
A 3-in-1 deal.
A 3-in-1 deal. That actually they are very related.
Okay.
Right? So when he talked about his work experience, he was saying he supervised and coordinated the customer support team.
Okay, so he watched over, right? And made things work together well.
To coordinate.
Yes.
So these are really great verbs that you can use when you're talking about your job responsibilities.
Yes.
I supervised.
I coordinated.
And he used another really great one that said to implement.
To implement, to make something happen, to put it in place.
Right? So he implemented new strategies.
Implemented new policies.
Okay. To set in action.
Exactly.
All right. So a lot of great vocabulary, a lot of great stuff, and well, you can use it for when you are at a job interview. So let's listen to this dialogue again. And when we come back, we're going to give you some tips so you'll do well in this part of the job interview.
Thanks for coming in today. Did you have any trouble finding us? Please, take a seat.
Thank you.
So, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your educational background.
Sure. Well, I graduated with honors from Chesterton University with a major in business administration, with a specialization in information management, and I minored in psychology. I chose this course of study for two reasons. I wanted to gain some practical, marketable skills, which the information management track provided, and I also feel that the interpersonal skills are essential for professional success, hence the minor in psychology.
Interesting. And your postgraduate studies?
Well, I am really passionate about consumer behavior, so I pursued a master's in that area. I also strive to keep my professional skills current, so I continuously attend seminars and conferences related to management and customer service.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your work experience. I see here that you previously worked at Oracle.
Yeah, I worked as their customer support manager, which brought me a breadth of experience in both client care and process management. I supervised and coordinated the customer support team as well as implemented new strategies to achieve better customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
Yes, in this position, I was able to make some pretty significant contributions to the overall success of the company. With the different initiatives that we implemented, we lowered our churn rate to about 5%, which had a direct impact on revenue.
All right, well, I want to talk about two main things. And the first thing I want to talk about is how you address this question about your educational background. Like, what is the interviewer looking to find out?
Okay, perfect. So when you are talking about your educational background, you shouldn't only talk about your college degree, right?
Yep.
You should also talk about any type of training that you've had.
Yeah, I think it's really important to let the interviewer know that you're continually trying to update your skills and improve your knowledge. So any sort of courses or seminars that you might attend, this is a great chance to highlight those.
And that's what the interview is looking for, right?
Also, any trade publications, any magazines that you read related to your job is a great way to sort of highlight your desire to keep learning.
Well, I think that's really important because it's good that you went to a good university, you got this degree and everything, but continuously training yourself, and maybe just by listening to business podcasts or reading specific magazines or stuff like that, that is demonstrating that you care about what you do and that you are continuously learning, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so those are the main things to talk about in your educational background. Now, when this work experience question pops up, what should you really say?
When you're answering this question, I think there's something really important to keep in mind.
And what's that?
You want to make sure that you're being as specific as possible, right?
Right, so giving examples of what you've done.
Like really specifically what you did, all of the sort of the main achievements you have.
Okay, so like for example, we saw in our dialogue that he talked about specific strategies that he implemented to improve customer support in that company.
Right, and he gave some numbers.
Right, he said, he lowered the churn rate to about 5%.
So it's so important whenever you can attach a number to your success or your achievement. To be able to do that in the interview really demonstrates your achievement.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And another thing when you're talking about previous jobs is make sure you keep it on a positive note, right? Even if your experience was not very good or you didn't like the company or, you had problems, you should avoid talking about that and always keep it on a positive note.
Right. So if the interviewer asks you why you want to join this company, why you're looking to leave your current job, you want to give these positive reasons.
Right. You don't want to say, well, because my boss was a jerk or I didn't like the company anymore. You should answer it with something positive like, well, I think I need a change, or this job opportunity is more aligned with what I want to do in the future, etc. Yeah, so positive always on your interviews, and just, again, prepare for these questions that are always going to be there.
Yes.
So, Erica, I know that you've done a lot of interviews, and I understand that you've had a really weird question.
Yes. In an interview, I once got this question. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I really was asked that question.
What did you answer?
I think I said that I would want to be a willow tree because they're really beautiful.
Was that the right answer?
I don't know. Like, what are you supposed to answer to that question? I really don't know what the right answer was.
Well, some people, they'll ask you just, I don't know, random questions just to see what your response is. I think also maybe it's just how you deal with the pressure
or with the unexpected questions.
Right. So it's like that is pretty unexpected though. But I guess you handled it pretty well.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got the job. So
nice. All right.
All right. I want to know from our listeners if they were a tree, what kind of tree they would be.
Yeah. And also tell us about, your job experience or your educational background. Well, I know, for example, that I've had a lot of different types of jobs. I've even been that person that gets on the bus and charges people the money.
I know. You've had every job under the sun.
So, but it's great. So tell us, what's the weirdest job you've had? What's the craziest or the best job? Or any experiences?
Yes.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
Let's try that faster. Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Course of study. I chose this course of study because it offers a wide range of work opportunities. Course of study. I want to change my course of study before the next semester starts. Course of study. My sister didn't choose her course of study. My parents decided for her. Pursue. They wanted to pursue their dream of traveling around the world, but it didn't happen. Pursue. My mother wants me to pursue a career in law. Pursue. You should really pursue that master's degree. It would really help your career. Strive. If you want to be successful, you must strive to achieve your goals. Strive. We strive to bring you outstanding customer service. Strive. Our company always strives to make our products better and better. Hence. The project was a complete failure. Hence, the project manager was fired. Hence. The project was postponed for 3 months, hence the delay in delivery. Hence. I never studied for my exams, hence my low marks.
Hello everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and we're shoe shopping again.
That's right, we are going shoe shopping, but this time it's a little bit more complicated because we're getting women's shoes.
That's right. So there are so many different kinds of women's shoes. I'm not even sure I know them all myself, but in this intermediate level lesson, we're going to cover some of the basics for you.
That's right. So before we jump into this dialogue, we have a word that we want to preview with you today, and let's take a look at it now on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, so we're shopping today for a certain kind of shoe. It's not a sports shoe, it's a dress shoe.
Okay, that kind of doesn't make sense because a dress is a noun, a shoe is a noun. And so you want to get a shoe that's a dress?
No. A dress shoe is a style of shoe. It means shoes that you wear when you're wearing fancy clothes.
So it's kind of like a formal shoe. A dress shoe is for a shoe, a type of shoe that would go well with a dress.
That's right, not sneakers. But don't be fooled. This is not about dresses because men can wear dress shoes too.
That's right.
It means shoes you would wear to a conference or to a wedding or to church. So these are things that are a little bit fancier than everyday shoes.
Okay, awesome. So we're shopping for a dress shoe, and there are so many types and styles of shoes for women. So why don't we listen to our dialogue for the first time, and we'll be back in a second.
Hi, excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a dress shoe. My usual pair that I've had for years have finally been stretched out of shape. They don't provide any support anymore.
Sure. What kind of shoe are you looking for? We've got strappy sandals, sleek high heels, edgy pumps. If you're looking for something a little more practical, we've got Mary Janes, ballerinas.
Show me some classic high heels, please.
Okay, right this way. What color did you have in mind?
Black. Classic.
Of course, we've got this style here that is very popular. Because it's an open-toe shoe, you can wear it any time of the year. They look great on everyone.
Too shiny. And I wear pantyhose with my shoes, so let's look for a closed-toe shoe.
Okay, these are a very nice pair of leather shoes with a 2-inch heel, so they are very comfortable.
I don't like the pointed toes. Let me take a look at what else you have. Too high. That one looks like the back would cut into my heel. I have a high instep, so I doubt that one would fit properly. I don't want bows. I find slingbacks very uncomfortable. Those might as well be stilettos. Too modern. Ah, finally! This is what I'm looking for.
What size?
7.5.
Here we are. How does it fit?
Not good. They're too tight. The length is right, but the shoe is too narrow and it's pinching my toes. And there'd be no room for my insoles. You know what? I don't think I have the patience for this today. They just don't make shoes like they used to. I'll come back another time.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
All right, we're back. So a lot of shoe styles, as you noticed, a lot of them are very, I don't know, I don't even know what they are. So why don't we try and explain them now on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So the first kind of shoe we've got here is very popular in the summer. It's called a strappy sandal.
A strappy sandal. So we know what a sandal is.
Yep.
It's kind of like what you wear to the beach. It's a shoe that it doesn't really cover your whole foot, just the bottom.
It's very open.
And well, what about strappy?
Strappy comes from the word strap. So strap is like a thin piece of fabric or leather that connects other pieces. And so a strappy sandal means that it's got many of these different little straps on it, many lines everywhere that connect it. So it's very open. It's made of many different thin pieces.
Okay, good. So we have a strappy sandal, basically a sandal with many straps. And well, she went on to describe a sleek high heel. So this is a two-part thing here. Sleek is an adjective, which basically means really cool looking.
Or more like it's pretty and fancy, and usually sleek things are also kind of simple. Like a Jaguar is a very sleek car.
Okay. And so this is the adjective to describe the high heels. So we have high heels.
Okay, we have high heels that are kind of fancy shoe. Basically, these are shoes that are not flat. So the heel is very tall.
That's right. So basically, this is what a lot of women wear with dresses. Basically, the heel has a piece that kind of sticks out and makes the woman look taller. So basically, it's like they're walking on the tips of their toes the entire time.
Right, and they make click, clack, click, clack.
Exactly.
They make that sound. But there are different kinds of heels, okay? High heels obviously means that they're tall. You can have low heels too. Those are shorter.
Okay.
But high heels, there are different kinds. One kind is pumps.
Pumps, okay? In the dialogue, we actually saw the salesman describe them as edgy pumps. So edgy, what does edgy mean, though?
Edgy means cool or hip.
All right.
So young people like to wear edgy clothes,
Okay.
like rock and roll kind of clothes. Not so much older people.
Okay. And pumps are a type of high heel, you say, but what is the difference?
Well, pumps basically are the kind of simple heel that a woman will wear with a pantsuit or with a skirt to the office. And so they usually have a closed toe, and they're quite simple heels.
Okay. And the opposite, or well, maybe a little bit different from pumps, would be stilettos.
So stilettos are a very special kind of heel. Stiletto. It refers basically to the difference in the back of the shoe where you have the heel, because sometimes heels are kind of thick and heavy and they make the clunk clunk sound.
Right.
But stilettos are very, very, very thin and very, very tall.
Okay. So stiletto heels. I think it's probably easier to walk with pumps rather than stilettos, right?
Stilettos are famous for being very, very hard to walk in. It's almost like the back of your heel is a chopstick.
Wow. I cannot imagine doing that. All right, so this is the classification of our high heels. Why don't we move on now to Mary Jane's?
Okay, so we've got high heels and heels, but we also have flats. These are flat shoes. So one important kind of flat is a Mary Jane. Sounds like a name, right?
Yeah, it is a name, right? Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
So what type of shoe is this?
This is basically usually a leather shoe, but it can be different materials. And it's round in the front, and it has one strap, and they're very cute.
Okay.
Usually
okay.
little girls wear Mary Janes, but they're pretty popular these days with older people too.
Okay. So they're round in the front. They are usually black, and they have one little strap that goes over the top of your foot. Mary Jane's. Okay. All right. So we've taken a look at Mary Jane's. Now moving on to, I think it's a similar type of shoe, ballerina shoes.
Well, ballerina shoes are similar because they're flat, but
Right.
that's about it. Ballerina shoes are very, very thin. They're very, very weak. And usually they're pretty simple. They're pink or white or black. And they're almost like a slipper.
Okay. So they don't have the strap on top.
No, they're stretchy, and you just slide them onto your foot. It's named after dancers, ballerinas. You know, the dancers who
Right.
wear pink and they put their hair up and they spin around. And they're not hard on the bottom. They're usually quite soft, and they're always flat.
So maybe these ballerina shoes, they're not the specific types of shoes for dancing if you're a ballerina,
Right.
but maybe they're more adequate for maybe walking around the house or something. You don't really go out hiking with ballerina shoes.
No, you don't go out hiking, but they're very popular to wear now to school or work.
Okay. And the other type of shoes that we had, actually, this was really confusing to me. Slingback shoes.
Well, slingbacks can be hard because they can be heels. They could be pumps, but it basically refers to a part of the shoe. So normal shoes, they cover the back of your foot, but slingbacks have one strap in the back. So maybe if I look at my foot in a slingback, I can see part of my heel.
Right. Okay, so slingbacks have a little strap on the back of your heel since the shoe doesn't close in the back.
Right.
Okay, but you also have high heels and women's shoes that don't close in the back, but that you don't have a strap in the back either, right?
Those are open shoes.
Open shoes.
Yeah, they're open in the back. But a slingback, there's one strap that keeps your shoe on.
Okay, a lot of different types of shoes we've just taken a look at. Why don't we go back, listen to the dialogue again, and we'll be back shortly with Fluency Builder.
Hi, excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a dress shoe. My usual pair that I've had for years have finally been stretched out of shape. They don't provide any support anymore.
Sure. What kind of shoe are you looking for? We've got strappy sandals, sleek high heels, edgy pumps. If you're looking for something a little more practical, we've got Mary Jane's, ballerinas.
Show me some classic high heels, please.
Okay, right this way. What color did you have in mind?
Black. Classic.
Of course, we've got this style here that is very popular. Because it's an open-toe shoe, you can wear it any time of the year. They look great on everyone.
Too shiny. And I wear pantyhose with my shoes, so let's look for a closed-toe shoe.
Okay, these are a very nice pair of leather shoes with a 2-inch heel, so they are very comfortable.
I don't like the pointed toes. Let me take a look at what else you have. Too high. That one looks like the back would cut into my heel. I have a high instep, so I doubt that one would fit properly. I don't want bows. I find slingbacks very uncomfortable. Those might as well be stilettos. Too modern. Finally! This is what I'm looking for.
What size?
7.5.
Here we are. How does it fit?
Not good. They're too tight. The length is right, but the shoe is too narrow and it's pinching my toes. And there'd be no room for my insoles. You know what? I don't think I have the patience for this today. They just don't make shoes like they used to. I'll come back another time.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
All right, we're back. So now let's take a look at 5 key things on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, well, the reason we're shopping today is because the woman needs a new pair of shoes because her old shoes can't be worn anymore. What's wrong with them, Marco?
She said that they were stretched out of shape.
Okay, so to stretch or to be stretched out, this means that maybe they've been pulled and worn and they're stretched so much that they don't have the original shape anymore.
Right. So just imagine you have a new t-shirt and all of a sudden somebody takes you from your t-shirt and pulls you really hard. And usually what happens is this t-shirt is going to be stretched out of shape. You pulled it so hard that it loses its original form. So now maybe the neck is very low or the t-shirt is too long on one side.
Right.
So that's what happens when you stretch something out of shape.
Great.
Okay.
So her old shoes are stretched out of shape and they don't provide support anymore.
Okay. So to provide support. Now, what kind of support is she referring to?
She's talking about foot support. So, for example, slippers are a kind of shoe, basically, that don't provide support. They're very soft. But can you walk around all day in slippers? No, that doesn't help your foot. But if you're trying to find shoes that are really good for walking, you need to find ones that provide support. That means that always support your foot, the bottom of your foot. Otherwise, your foot gets too tired.
Not only the bottom, but it could be also your ankle. For example, if you can't really go hiking with shoes like these with sandals because obviously you're walking around rocks and it doesn't provide support on your ankle. Maybe you can hurt your ankle if you don't have it.
So maybe a hiking boot will provide more support.
Exactly. All right. And then the woman also mentioned that, it's hard for her to find a shoe because she said, I have a high instep.
Okay, so think about the foot. You've got toes in the very front and a heel in the very back, but in the middle, on top, you have the instep. So this is basically the top of your foot.
Okay. So if she has a high instep, it means that her foot is kind of thick.
That's right. Some people have thin feet. She has kind of a thick foot. So fitting her foot into a shoe is sometimes hard.
Right. We're not talking about the width of the foot. We're talking about the height,
like
or
how
tall it is.
From the bottom to the top of the foot.
Right. So that's what she means by high instep. And they also mentioned different types of shoes. She said she didn't want an open toe shoe. She wanted a closed toe shoe.
That's right. So this is a really important classification for women's shoes, especially. Open toe means that the toe of the shoe, the very, very front, has a hole or an opening, so you can see the toes.
Right.
Closed toe is the opposite. So personally, in the wintertime, I always wear closed-toed shoes because I think open-toe shoes are too cold.
Too cold. Okay. So that's basically it. I guess men, we don't really have this type of shoe between open toe and closed toe.
No, maybe, no, you don't really. But heels, maybe you could have an open toe. You can have an open toe shoe or a closed toed shoe.
Right. Okay. So a lot of interesting things. This is useful for women out there and also for boyfriends. Maybe now you know what type of shoe your girlfriend may want.
That's right.
All right. So let's listen to this dialogue for the last time and we'll be back shortly.
Hi, excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a dress shoe. My usual pair that I've had for years have finally been stretched out of shape. They don't provide any support anymore.
Sure, what kind of shoe are you looking for? We've got strappy sandals, sleek high heels, edgy pumps. If you're looking for something a little more practical, we've got Mary Jane's, ballerinas.
Show me some classic high heels, please.
Okay, right this way. What color did you have in mind?
Black. Classic.
Of course, we've got this style here that is very popular. Because it's an open-toe shoe, you can wear it any time of the year. They look great on everyone.
Too shiny. And I wear pantyhose with my shoes, so let's look for a closed-toe shoe.
Okay, these are a very nice pair of leather shoes with a 2-inch heel, so they are very comfortable.
I don't like the pointed toes. Let me take a look at what else you have. Too high. That one looks like the back would cut into my heel. I have a high instep, so I doubt that one would fit properly. I don't want bows. I find slingbacks very uncomfortable. Those might as well be stilettos. Too modern. Ah, finally! This is what I'm looking for.
What size?
7.5.
Here we are. How does it fit?
Not good. They're too tight. The length is right, but the shoe is too narrow and it's pinching my toes. And there'd be no room for my insoles. You know what? I don't think I have the patience for this today. They just don't make shoes like they used to. I'll come back another time.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
All right, so talking about shoes, there's so many types, and I think women are notoriously famous for having a lot of shoes. Why is this?
Some women are, and it depends on the person. But part of the problem, as you said earlier, is that there's so many different kinds of women's shoes that now we expect women to have a different pair of shoes for every different occasion. Work shoes, hiking shoes, running shoes, wedding shoes.
Right.
I don't know, summer shoes, winter shoes, fall shoes. So you need so many different kinds of shoes. You end up buying many different kinds.
I think that that's true, and also basically women like to look nice, so that's why you do your makeup, you have earrings, and they have nice bags. So I guess it's also part of it is that you pay more attention to what type of shoe you're wearing that maybe goes well with the outfit. I think maybe guys, not all guys obviously, as well as not all women, but guys are a little bit more generic, because like jeans pretty much go well with any type of shoe as long as it's maybe black or brown, right? Or something like this.
True. Although I know a lot of guys who have many different kinds of shoes.
True. It takes up a lot of space in the closet as well.
It does. Shoes are hard to carry around.
And actually, I find it kind of hard to get rid of my shoes. I think they have to be ripped or just completely unwearable in order for me to throw a shoe away, because otherwise it's still, you can still wear it sometimes on the weekends.
No, that's true. Although I tend to wear my shoes down. That means I wear them until they die.
Really?
And
Actually,
then I throw them away.
I've had shoes that I've worn the soles down, and then I just get the sole changed because I like the shoe so much.
Oh. Well, let us know. Do you guys like to buy shoes? Do you have a lot of shoes? Maybe you don't have that many shoes. We're curious to know about this in other cultures as well, because I know in the States, in the United States, shoe shopping is very, very popular.
In Holland, they have traditional wooden shoes.
Yeah, they do. Those are called clogs.
Clogs. So let us know maybe what type of shoes are also very unique to your country or culture. We're at EnglishPod.com. We'll see everyone there.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Something that holds a person. Support. A shoe with a bottom part having straps. Strappy sandals. A low-cut, low-heeled shoe. Edgy pump. The shoe with the toes exposed. Open-toed shoe. The length of the heel is 2 inches. 2-inch heel. The shoe having a narrow top. Pointed shoe. Squeeze between the thumb and a finger. Pinch. The inner sole of a shoe. Insole. Tight and hurts the body with a sharp thing. Cut into.
Let's try that faster.
The length of the heel is 2 inches. 2-inch heel. Tight and hurts the body with a sharp thing. Cut into. The inner sole of a shoe. Insole. Something that holds a person. Support. A shoe with the bottom part having straps. Strappy sandals. The shoe having a narrow top. Pointed shoe. Squeeze between the thumb and a finger. Pinch. The shoe with the toes exposed. Open-toed shoe. A low-cut, low-heeled shoe. Edgy pump.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Support. It is important that your shoes support the arches of your feet so that your ankles don't roll in. Support. Apparently my shoes are the cause of my back pain, so I need to get custom-made insoles that provide extra support. Support. I find that it is so much easier to walk in a shoe that has arch support. Cut into. My new shoes are cutting into the back of my heel. Cut into. The straps on these sandals are cutting into my feet. Cut into. I think my feet are too wide for this shoe because the shoe is starting to cut into the sides of my feet. 2-inch heel. I can't stand high heels, so if I have to wear them, I only ever wear shoes with a 1-inch heel. 2-inch heel. I don't know how models can stand, let alone walk in 4-inch heels. 2-inch heel. I love any kind of high heel shoes, but pumps with 3-inch heels are my favorite by far. Pinch. When I bought these shoes, they fit perfectly, but now I find that they are pinching my baby toe. Pinch. Does the size down fit better, or are they pinching your feet? Pinch. I haven't yet been able to buy shoes in China because the shoe sizes are smaller, so my toes are always pinched. Insole. I always put insoles in my shoes so I don't need to worry about how comfortable a shoe is before I buy it. Insole. The doctor suggested that my mother get special insoles made for her shoes. Insole. I always wear good quality shoes, so I never needed to buy insoles.